Hi friends, I hope all of you doing well. I'm also well. Today I'm come up with new article pertaining to Indian economy. Indian economy is basically part of all competitive examinations in India, such as UPSC, all state public service commissions. For that, we need to study our Indian economy in present current situations. Why? Because there is a global recession. It may be hit some sectors of Indian economy. In correction with there are two arguments. Firstly, our Indian economy is basically domestically driven one. That's the reason there is no effect of recession. Another argument is that even though Indian economy is domestically driven one, but some of the sectors of Indian economy may hit by the global recession. So these are the major arguments pertaining to Indian economy in present situation. We need to clarify these two arguments, whether first argument is correct or second argument is correct. Let's move to the topic. Related to first argument, is Indian economy really domestic driven one? This is the first question. We need to clarify. We need to get good clarification on this. For that, I have collected some points from article. The first one is yes, Indian economy is domestically driven one. Why? Because country's growth is primarily driven by its own domestic consumption investment. This is this is in contrast to other developed countries. Those are exports driven economies. Okay. From the first point, we can partially conclude that Indian economy is domestically driven one. How? India's largest population, that is 1.3 billion people, provides vast market for goods and services and attracted many multinational companies in India to invest their income. Further, best example is that our FDIs are drastically increased from 2.2 to 2.5 GDP ratio, that is over a period of financial year 12 to 16 to present financial year, that is financial year 2022. So yes, Indian economy is basically driven by domestically. That's the reason our Indian markets attracts FDIs. So almost our Indian economy is driven by local domestical factors. And Indian economic growth has been driven by government initiatives. Basically, there are two major initiatives of government, that is Make in India campaign, which seeks to promote domestic manufacturing and entrepreneurship, which means it it promotes domestic manufacturing. First of all, we need to manufacture ourselves. After surplus, we need to export the same things to outer economies. So it may be that indirectly implicate that Indian economy is domestically driven one. Exports are come down over a period of time in India. For example, in financial year 12 to 16 period, the GDP ratio of exports 15.6. It is drastically came down to 12.0 GDP ratio. It's directly these data directly telling that our exports have been come down, not drastically increased or significantly increased. So without exports, there is a growth, small growth, not that much growth. That's the reason our Indian economy domestically driven one. And orally, the article suggests that India's economy is driven its large domestic market, which has significant potential growth. Yes, our Indian economy has significant potential for its growth. That's the reason there are many recessions happen in previous periods. India is still resilient for that. Why? Because Indian economy is domestically driven one. But there is some concern is that Indian economy hit global recessions, hit some sectors of Indian economy. What are the major sectors? We know that there are basically three sectors: one, two, three. We know that agriculture sector, industrial sector, and service sector. We all are safe with the two sectors. But what about this? What about this third sector? So third sector may be hit by Indian global recession in third sectors such as IT, BPO, pharmaceutical industries. So what is the product of these two major sectors? Majorly software. So for that software production outputs, where is the market? Market is in US. That's the reason. When the global recession directly hits the US markets, it is directly or indirectly affects these IT BPO sectors. That's the reason. So we need to remember that two arguments. First I have already discussed with you people that two arguments are basically writers arguments. Why? Because there is a third sector is directly impact implications on global recessions. So Indian exports have already taken hit due to global recession, with sectors like textiles, handicrafts being particularly affected. See this data, exports. Over a time, it is declining to GDP ratio. So, textiles and clothing contributed 14% of share in industrial production. So, industrial production 4% in GDP, exporting 7% actually. But orally, during the recession period, the textile exports will come down over a period of time. That's the reason. That's the reason why central government introduced Mitra scheme. Mitra scheme is a mega integrated textile region and apparel parks. Yesterday, our central government, Honorable Modi, approved certain seven textile parks in seven states, various states that are Telangana, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, UP, Maharashtra. And the government adopted 5F strategy: farm, fiber, factory, fashion, foreign. This is important strategy for us at present now. Why? Because the global recession hit exports of textiles in India. In ancient times, we have so much importance to our integrated textiles regions. But in present scenario, due to global recession, it may be hit in future also. That's the reason this is good initiative taken by government of India to come up with these problems, these global recession problems. So we need to understand that there are some of the sectors of Indian economy directly directly come down due to global recessions. It may be hit some sectors, and 1 minute, 1 minute there. Okay. So additionally, the article noted that India's construction real estate sectors may also impacted by regional global recession. Foreign investments in these sectors could dry up. Over a period of time, foreign investments are flown very high in Indian economy. In financial year 12 to 16 was 2.2 to GDP ratio. In present current financial year 2.5 in GDP ratio. Because of it happened because of 1.3 billion people provide a market for goods and services. That's the reason all the global economies look at our Indian economy. Why? Because there are so much consumption is there. That's the reason investments is coming. The major reason is that to increase global FDIs into our Indian economy, our market is very high, huge market with 1.3 billion people. So and basically the FDIs may come in real estate sector, construction sectors. Due to global recession, these FDIs will evaporated in future, directly hitting this. Okay, and next, oil prices may increase due to global recession. Directly, that oil prices directly fluctuations affects our Indian economy, leads to inflation, increase of inflation. Indian relatively large domestic market may help insulate from a world effects of global recession. Our Indian economy affects, but that may be affected, but that much not affected. Whatever economists are telling that. So, some of the several challenges faced by Indian economy, we need to go through them. So, slow growth. First of all, slow growth. Due to COVID pandemic, there are worsened situations of growth had led to reduced investment, lower job creation, decreased tax revenue for the government in the period of COVID-19. And in the same time, joblesses so many peoples, including several sectors such as including manufacturing, construction, hospitality, have been hit hard by pandemic, leading to job losses, many workers. So, rural distress, the agriculture sectors, low productivity, lack of infrastructure, market access in banking sector is suffering with NPS. తర్వాత fiscal deficit. Government fiscal deficit has been widening over the past few years. Infrastructure challenges. India has faced significant infrastructure challenges, including inadequate power supply, poor roads, limited access to water, sanitization facilities. The impact of global recession also. This is new impact. Okay. In addition to above all, inflation, corruption also are the major challenges to Indian economy. How can we overcome these challenges? Some of the solutions are there: increase public investment, encourage private investment, address structural issues, focus on experts, huh? Invest in education and skill training. This is very important. This is also important. All five factors very important. Why? Because India is facing infrastructure problems. That's the reason government of India increased its investments in public infrastructures and adopted seven pillars. And next, encourage private investment. For that, Indian government promoting PPP model. You know PPP, three P's, PQ model, PQ model. So the focus on exports. This is very important and directly related to our article. Drastically decreasing our exports. That's the reason we need to focus on exports and investments in education and skill training. For that, support MSMEs, government provide more support to micro, small, medium enterprises that are major source of employment in India. This can include easier access to credit, streamlined regulations, and incentives of innovation and technology adaptation. For that, there is a scheme called PLI, a subsidy to it provides technology and subsidy to MSMEs, and orally multi-factors approach that address the both short-term challenges and long-term structural issues is need to revive the Indian economy, make it more resilient in face of global economic challenges. So this is I wanted to express my views on Indian economy with respect to global recession. Thank you, friends. Uh, Please watch my all videos and